guys, it's Ilana and welcome back to my channel. So if you're currently in cosmetology school right now and you feel like it's starting to get really discouraging, you're wondering like, what am I doing here? I suck, I hate this, or I'm not sure if this is right for me. I want you to watch this because I really do hope that it helps you feel a little bit more encouraged, because I am 3 months away from graduating and there are many times where even I do get discouraged, even though I love school. But I will tell you, the past 2 months have been kind of rough for me in some ways. And I want to talk about like what to do when cosmetology school gets hard and discouraging. So let's get into the first thing that I recommend. I think it's really easy to compare ourselves with others in our class and what their progress looks like and what their work looks like versus your own work. It is so easy to have comparativitis. I think that's what it is. I'm making this up, but anyways, you know what I mean. And it is so important, and I know it's going to sound really cliche, but it's so important that you do not compare yourself to others, because it's only going to make yourself feel shittier than you probably feel now. Everyone learns in different ways. Some people may just need more time to develop or craft a skill. You also don't know if somebody's come in knowing something already and they're just practicing it more, or something clicked for them. Everyone learns in different paces and ways. And there could also be something that you're really good at that maybe they suck at. So it's really important to not compare yourself to other people and what their work looks like. You really just need to focus on you and yourself only, because only you're your own competition. Nobody else is your competition. So it's important that if you feel like you have done something that may not necessarily be your best work, well, guess what? There are other opportunities for you to beat that last haircut, or maybe if you wanted to do quicker cutting or whatever it is you're trying to get better at. That is why you pace yourself and you practice, so you can compare only yourself against what you've done in the past. That is the only time you should be comparing things, but don't worry about what your friend is doing or what the other person in your class is doing and how you feel crappy because their work looks better than yours. Because again, you don't know how long it took them to maybe catch on to that skill. And again, they probably could suck at something that you're really good at. So again, don't worry about what other people are doing. Focus on you and you only. This is going to be really cliche, so I'm just going to get this out of the way, but I think this is the pretty obvious one. And just know, like, school is the place to make mistakes. School is the place to get help and ask questions. There have been maybe a couple times lately where I have kind of let my ego get in the way a little bit, and I'm like, nah, I don't need help. And I really regret that, because it's kind of screwed me over with some haircuts and I've made some mistakes. I realized that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn and grow from those mistakes, but you need to remember that your teachers are there to help you. So if you feel like you're about to do something that could potentially be bad, get your teacher and learn and grow. And don't feel bad if they end up doing the whole haircut for you, because at the end of the day, it's still a learning opportunity for you to see what they're doing. For an example, I will be honest, round layers are something that I'm still struggling with. And I'm 3 months out of school and I'm 3 months away from graduating. But I know that my goal is to make sure that I can do it the right way without any trouble before I graduate. Plus, I need to know it for my practical. I want to make sure that that's something that I practice and I get better at, which will lead me to the next thing. Any free time or downtime that you have in school in between clients, or maybe you don't have any clients during the day, use that time to practice things that you are struggling with. So I plan on getting a new mannequin soon so I can really practice round layers, because the thing that I struggle with is connecting the back to the front. So I can do the front fine, but the back, I get very lost. And I will say it doesn't help that I'm left-handed, so I learned things the right-handed way. So we won't get into that. But long story short, I know what I need to work on to improve in order to be a successful hairstylist. So using that free time that you do have in school to practice the things that you're really struggling with, that's the perfect opportunity. Just remember that you have opportunity to learn and grow and to improve. The fourth thing, trust the process and trust yourself. Even though school may be daunting and exhausting and there are going to be so many discouraging times, trust the process. Your programs are designed to be the length that they already are. Of course, like most programs are hourly based. And yes, you do need a certain amount of hours depending on where you live in the country in order to graduate. There's a reason as to why those hours are set, because they believe like that is an ample amount of time for you to really hone in on your craft and learn the basics of hair cutting or whatever it is you're learning in cosmetology school. So trust the process, because when you do the work, when you show up to class and you are able to grasp the concepts and to practice on your mannequins, I promise you're not gonna suck like you think you do. So you do have to show up and do the work. And yes, there are a lot of hours that go into cosmetology school, but those hours are there for a reason, so it's to help you grow. Trust the timing of your program, just trust what you're learning, and trust yourself, and I promise it will get better and easier. This is something that I sort of mentioned earlier, but I will kind of go into a little bit more in more detail. Think back to when you first started school. Even if it's like 2 months into your program, you're 5 months into your program, maybe you're only a couple weeks into your program, compare and contrast some of your work that you've done. I think it's really important to take pictures of your mannequin work and any kinds of like cuts that you do or any blowouts or any hair color, whatever you're doing, right? Take pictures. Compare like your first work that you did when you first started school and compare it to where you are now. You'll probably see that things look a lot better than when you first started. I go back and I look pictures of my first blowout and comparing to like how I do blowouts now, it's clearly a lot better. You may not realize you're improving, but you are improving as you go along in school, and you just may not realize it because there could be something else that's going on that's frustrating you. So it's really easy for us to be really hard on ourselves. Like I said, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they're actually improving in cosmetology school. When I first started, it pretty much took me 2 hours to do haircuts, and throughout the course of school, I've gotten to do haircuts a lot quicker. Now I can do haircuts within an hour, sometimes a little over. And my goal is to maybe even do haircuts under an hour, depending on what it is. Because sometimes you may not be able to do a haircut within an hour depending on how much hair a person has. That's another topic. But I have gotten quicker at haircuts, and it is really cool to see yourself grow and get quicker at things. I don't know about your school, but at my school, we are asked to create smarkles when we are entering a new phase of the program. And I think smarkles are really helpful, especially for me, and it's also a really great way to hold yourself accountable. So make a list of your smarkles. So smarkles, I will have it listed out here for what it stands for. Basically, your smarkles are supposed to be realistic and achievable. So for an example, if you want to maybe get 10 write-offs of haircuts in this phase, that can be a smarkle for you. And you can keep track of that smarkle to make sure that you can at least get 10 haircut sign-offs before that phase ends. Or maybe you want to work on getting quicker at haircuts and doing it within a certain amount of time. Time yourself, practice, see how long it takes you. Those are great ways to hold yourself accountable, and it helps you learn and grow on your own, and it really pushes you. So creating goals for yourself, depending on how your program is structured, is going to be a really great way to just stay on top of things and to not feel so discouraged or bad about how you may be feeling when it comes to school. And the last thing, remember why you signed up for cosmetology school in the first place. Of course, everyone has different reasons as to why they enroll in cosmetology school, but if you look back and you remember that hair is your passion, and you know that this is all going to be worth it in the end, that is something that you can go back and think about your why. I think it's always important to have a why when going into something and making a big commitment like cosmetology school. Remembering like why you got started in the first place and telling yourself like, why are you here? That is a great way to remind yourself like what you're doing, and it's a good way to re-encourage yourself when things do get hard. And sometimes some people realize, hey, you know what, this isn't for me like I thought it was, and that's okay too. It's better that you know that as soon as you can, as opposed to not wasting so much more money because it is really expensive And if you have to drop out, you have to drop out. It's okay, right? At the end of the day, if you know that this is something that you want to stick to and you're not going to give up, you're not going to quit, have your why written down, and that's a great way to encourage yourself and to lift yourself back up again. It does get easier. So yeah, those are all my tips on what I try to do to tell myself when I have discouraging days in school, because I've had a little bit lately, but I do tell myself, you're almost done, it's gonna be worth it, and I still have fun when I'm at school. Even on the days that I feel discouraged, I think school's really fun, and I feel like I've been learning so much, and I'm really grateful for the education that I've been receiving during my time in cosmetology school. I'm curious to know down below of times where you felt, if you're in cosmetology school, where you felt discouraged, what did you do? Or if you have any other tips or tricks that you would add to this list, let us know. And if you liked this video and you thought it was really helpful and it helped lift you up, do make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!